You know, it does feel punitive to some extent, people who save from the age of 1 month old. Then when their kids go to get aid, in essence, they don't qualify because their assets, and this is obviously a good problem to have, but if you would have otherwise qualified based on your income for financial aid for college, you no longer qualify if you have a pretty flush 529 account. Is that true?
Well, the formulas are complicated and they don't take it all away from you, but I basically say the attitude of the college bursar is to look at the money you've got in your 529 and say, that doesn't belong to you and it doesn't belong to your son, Johnny. No, that belongs to me. I'm going to take it.
Mm-hmm.
So you do kind of get punished for saving money. Now, they don't take all of it. It's a certain percentage every year, and it does get complicated. But it does mean that you have to think about that when you're setting up your 529. And it also means that you can be crafty and keep that out of their eyesight. There's a way to do that.
How so?
All right. Now, if you're going to a U.S. college, and if you fill out the usual kind of college age formula, the usual application, that's FAFSA it's called, there's another one for Ivy League and other schools. But basically, they're going to look at all your 529s that are in your name or in Johnny's name. All right?
But not Aunt Margie's
So
name.
here's the other
Okay.
thing.
Or whoever.
They might, often, they do look at another one. Let's just suppose that Johnny's grandma wanted to put money aside for college. And if she names Johnny as the beneficiary, which is the instinctive thing to do, it can cause problems when you go for that financial aid. All right? So I'm sure lots of people have noticed that you can get around this. This is what happens. Grandma, sneaky grandma, she sets up a 520.
Smart grandma.
Smart grandma.
Let's recast this, right?
Right. No, there's nothing illegal about it.
Yeah.
You're not going to jail for this. All right. So grandma sets up a 529. Grandma can name herself as beneficiary. Now,
What if grandma dies? Then what happens?
Well, it does get complicated.
Okay.
So let me explain how we do this.
Okay.
Keep grandma healthy, all right?
All right.
So, but when Johnny's a month old, she might as well name Johnny as a beneficiary. And then she names the middle generation, her son or daughter, Johnny's parents, as the secondary account owner, keeping Johnny as the beneficiary. If grandma dies, nothing bad happens. The parents take over. It does show up on the college age application, but at least the money doesn't disappear.
Right.
All right. Now, let's just suppose grandma is healthy. All right. This is what grandma does. She sets it up. She says Johnny's the beneficiary when he's 1 month old. He gets to be 14 or 15. She says, I'm going to change my mind. I've always wanted to go back to school. I'm going to get a PhD in physics, grandma says to herself. So I'm going to make myself the beneficiary. Now, she's the account owner, so she can do that. So she makes herself the beneficiary. Johnny finishes at least 2 or maybe 3 years of college. Now she hands the money over to him. She makes him the beneficiary. And then when the money comes out, it's used for tuition.
Does it have to come out on a calendar year basis, or can you retroactively say, here's money for 3 years of college?
You don't go backwards. But the main thing is you don't want to show up on any of Johnny's college aid applications because when he's filling them out, he's reporting, honestly, he doesn't have a 529. Oh, grandma, she's going to go back to school for a PhD. I don't think about that. Maybe. So that's all legitimate. She changes when it's not going to affect his aid, which might be in his junior or senior year, and then she can use it. The other thing she could do is up to a point, use it to pay off college loans. So he could take out loans, cry poor mouth at the college financial aid office. And then after he's graduated, he can use a certain amount of it to pay off a loan, and it's a legitimate use of the 529, and so on. And by the way, there's another thing that you can do.
What?
You've got kids who are...
I have 3 kids.
Okay, and one of them's already out of school or almost. You can change, if you're the account owner, I assume you are, you can change the beneficiary from Susie, age 22, to Johnny, age 17. That's totally legitimate, very common. You just kick it down 1 year. And by the way, you could just keep it going for a while. Who knows? But one of them.
I could be a sneaky grandma at some point.
Well, you could be a sneaky ma. You could let Johnny keep it if he doesn't need it because you've been sneaky in Canada, and Canada has terrific colleges at low cost. All right. So after you've done that, he could leave the money in there, and maybe he will need it if he's going to go to med school. That costs a lot of money. So, don't worry about that.
So just recognize that it's a fungible expense. It's a fungible account, but what's important is to put the money in because you get that deduction. But more importantly, it basically accumulates tax-free.
It accumulates tax-free is the big thing. The smaller thing is in many states, not all, you get a deduction from your state taxes or a credit on your state taxes, which helps a little bit, but it's usually not a giant sum of money there. The big thing is if you take $10,000 and it grows to $22,000, the $12,000 is not taxable if it's used for college.
Right. Much like a health, those FSAs a little bit, right?
As long as HSAs,
HSAs, so good advice.